Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 14th lesson. And it's been a long time since we had our last lesson. Well, to be precise, it's been 2 weeks. And, I had my previous laptop broken, therefore I couldn't record the new lessons for you. But alhamdulillah, now I've got a brand new laptop with a brand new software, and now we can keep going. So we're good to go. And as usual, let's get started with quickly taking a look at what we learned in the previous lesson. That's what we usually do in the beginning of a new lesson. Well, in the previous lesson, 13th lesson that came right before 14th, we had a lesson that was divided into 3 parts. The first part was part A, part B, and part C. So in the Arabic language, it's part Alif, part Ba, and part Jim. And we had a lot to learn in these parts. Well, in the part A, we learned a lot of stuff about plural. Like plural forms are either sound or broken, just like in the English language. But there is a difference, as I said, that the sound plural in the Arabic language accounts for only maybe 10% of the words. And the broken plural accounts for the rest of 90% of the words. That's something that you have to overcome. Yeah, I know it's a bit difficult in comparison with the English language, but the good side is that it adds some charm to the Arabic language, and it adds some eloquency. Well, the more you will learn the Arabic language, the more you will understand that these broken plurals is are quite something for the Arabic language, and it makes it better than any other language because it adds no eloquency. So you'll get to that, but now you have to just put up with that and learn these broken plurals. That's it. So the sound plural is either masculine or feminine. Well, the masculine sound plural is formed by adding the ending una, like muslimun, muslimuna. But if you have the sound feminine plural, then we just add a different ending, not una but atun. That's what we learned in the previous lesson, like muslimatun, muslimatun. And in regard of the broken plural, as we said, it's impossible to predict. So najmun, nujumun. That's the broken plural. How do we know that? Well, if we didn't have this nujumun written in here, and we were asked to give the broken plural for najmun, we would have to look up the dictionary because that's impossible to predict what's the pattern for the broken plural. That's how it is. So all these patterns, all these broken plurals, they are impossible to predict. Therefore, we have to look up the dictionary every time. The second note was about ha'ula'i, which means they, and is used for both masculine and feminine. But it's used for only with the human beings. If it's not a human being, then we'll see in the lesson 16th what we use instead of it. Because if we use the word they in Arabic and it's not a human being, well, they're not human beings. We can't use ha'ulai. We will use hadihi, but we'll get to that in the 16th lesson. So far, you just need to know that ha'ulai means they and is used for masculine and feminine. Well, anyways, we learned that, therefore we won't dwell on it. We'll keep going. Whom, it means they, and it's masculine, so it's used when we refer to masculine human beings again. But if we refer to non-human beings, therefore we'll use hadihi. But again, we'll get to that, inshallah, in the 16th lesson. And whom, it means there, and we learned that it's added in the end of the word. It's that's how it is with all the how's it called, possessive pronouns. That's how it works with all the possessive pronouns in the English language. They are added in the end of the word, like baytun, house, baytuhum, their house, baytuha, her house, baytuhu, his house, and so on and so forth. And also we learn a new form of the verb, which ذهبوا. ذهب, it means he went, but ذهبوا, it means they went. That's how it is. And a new word like بعض, بعضهم, it means some, like a few or some, in the meaning of a quantity, like بعضهم, some of them. بعضهم مدرسون, some of them are teachers. In the part B, well, in the part A was dedicated to plural stuff. The part B was dedicated to feminine stuff like hunna, which means they, feminine, or hunna in the end, in the meaning of the possessive pronoun, means their. بيتهن, their house, and their, feminine. Also, we learned that هؤلاء is also used for feminine, and it means these. And also we've learned the new form of the verb in the past simple tense, ذهبنا. Well, ذهب, he went, ذهبوا, they went, but ذهبنا, they went, feminine. ذهبنا. Well, you are supposed to remember that. We're just refreshing our memory because we've learned all of this. Therefore, I'm just going over it at a high pace. That's it. That's why. Yeah. So what's next? And the last part was C. We learned. Well, that was quite a short lesson. It was all about أولئك, which means those. And it's pronounced in a funny way, like some letters are written but are not pronounced as usually, like أولئك. This waw is not pronounced. أولئك. أولئك. That's how it is. And now here we are on the 14th lesson. Well, there is a lot to learn, but all the things that we learn in this lesson are important. Well, actually, the first and the second levels are full of rules, and all of them are important. So, because it's all basics, therefore we have to really put efforts into mastering all these rules. I can't say that this is not important and this is important, because all of these rules are important. And let's get started. Al-fityatu. Well, al-fityatu, as you remember, it means like young guys or teenagers. Assalamu alaikum. And Hamid says, why is it not working? Hamid says, okay, Hamid says, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahadul fityati. One of the young boys. Ahadun, it means one. Al-fityah, al-fityati. Mudaf, mudafun ilayh. One of the young boys. That's how it's translated. He says, كيف حالك يا عمي? كيف حالك يا عمي? Well, apparently Hamid is an uncle. And one of the young boys says, how are you, oh my uncle? And Hamid says, أنا بخير. أنا بخير. I'm fine, or I'm good. والحمد لله. All praise to Allah. أنا بخير. I'm good. كيف حالكم? Yeah, that's something new. كيف حالك? That's a possessive pronoun which means your. But kum, that's the possessive pronoun which means yours. yours. So here it is. Yeah, the plural of ka, your, is kum. أين بيتكم? Brothers, where is your house? That's how it is. So in English, it's all the same, your. But in the Arabic language, if you refer to a group of people, you say kum. Because that's the plural of ka. كيف حالكم? How are you? Or literally it means how, uh, well, how do you say that? How is your state? Yeah, that's how it is. How's your state? Halun, state. Man antum? Man antum, who are you? And again, the plural of anta is antum. Anta is used when we refer to one person, it means you, and antum, it means, again, it means you, but it's used as the plural of anta. If you see a group of people, you can't say kaifa anta, because anta is for a singular person, for a single person, but antum is for plural. That's how it is. And ahaduhum, or which means one of them, says نحن أبناء الدكتور موسى. We are sons of the doctor Musa. ابن أبناء الدكتور موسى. Well, it doesn't have tanween because it's مضاف, and الدكتور مضاف إليه, and مضاف never takes tanween and never takes alif lam. حامد يقول, well, he says أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. Well, it means like welcome. All the three words, it just means one thing, like welcome. Yeah, that's how it is. Welcome. You can say just marhaban, or yeah, you just say marhaban. It still means welcome. But ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban is like a very, very welcome. Something like that. When you want to put in some emphasis, like you're really glad to see someone and you're greeting him with this ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. That's how it is. Abukum sadiqi. Your father. You remember abukum. The plural of ka is abukum. Kum. And abukum, it means your father. Sadiqi is my friend. Aina ammukum? الشيخ عيسى. Where is your uncle الشيخ عيسى? أحدهم says هو مريض. He is sick. هو الآن في المستشفى. He is now in the hospital. And Hamid says شفاه الله. شفا, that's a verb which means like سبحانك اللهم, like when you treat someone, when someone treats you, هي هو شفاك. Well, for example, someone treated you when you were sick, and therefore this person شفاك, he treated you, or he made you recover, But when he says shafahullah, that's a dua. So he is asking Allah to, may Allah grant him health. That's how the translation. That's the translation of this word shafahullah. May Allah grant him health. And then he says من هذه الطفلة التي معكم. من هذه الطفلة التي معكم. Who is this child? And pay attention that it has ta marbuta in the end. Therefore, this child is a feminine. It's a girl. التي معكم. That is with you. Who is with you? or that is with you. التي again it's feminine. الذي masculine, التي feminine. هي أختنا, she is our sister. MashaAllah, one more possessive pronoun, which is na. The plural of ana is nahnu. Well, subhanakallah, I forgot to say that nahnu is translated as we. That's how it is. So ana, I, we, nahnu. That's how it is. And we have learned that bayti means my house. Now we learn that our house is baytuna. Baytuna. So nahnu, it means we, like nahnu muslimuna, we are Muslims. And by the way, it refers to both the masculine and the feminine. Like nahnu muslimuna, we are Muslims, masculine. Nahnu muslimatun, we are Muslims, feminine. So nahnu, it means we, just like in the English language. And if you want to say our, we have to add this na, this possessive pronoun in the end. Allahu Rabbuna, Allah, our Lord. Al-Islamu dinuna, Al-Islam is our religion. Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wasallam nabiyuna, Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is our prophet. Hiya ukhtuna, she is our sister. Masmuha, Hamzatul Wasl is not pronounced if it's preceded by a word. And it means, what is her name? Ismuha Layla, her name is Layla. أين بيتكم الجديد? Where is your kum? It means yours. It means your. Baytun, house. Where is your house? Al-Jadid, new. Where is your new house? That's how it's translated. And you might ask, why Bayt doesn't have alif lam? Because Al-Jadid has alif lam. Or you might ask actually the opposite, like why Al-Jadid has alif lam while Bayt doesn't have alif lam? Well, well, that's a bit tricky, but we'll just have to take a look at the sixth note. We have learned that the mudaf is definite by position. Yeah, that's what I used to say. I'm still saying that mudaf doesn't take alif lam and doesn't take tanween. It doesn't take alif lam because it's definite by position. When we say, for example, baytu al-imam, well, it can be indefinite, right? Because we specified it. We said baytu al-imam. Therefore, it's by default is definite. And since it's mudaf doesn't take alif lam and tanween, but it's definite, and therefore its adjective is supposed to be also definite because it describes it. And how can we make it definite? By adding alif lam. So if there was no word al-imam, if we had only bayt and jadid, we would say al-baytul jadidu, and then we would make it, and then we would complete the sentence with something else. We would add something. But just because it's this al-imam made this word mudaf, and mudaf never takes alif lam, therefore it doesn't have alif lam. But it's kind of implied, that it has alif lam, but it doesn't, because it's mudaf. It's prohibited for mudaf to have alif lam. But just because it's definite, its adjective is also definite, therefore we add this alif lam. That's how it is. Here, baytun is mudaf, and it's definite by position. The same applies to the mudaf, whose mudafun ilayhi is a possessive pronoun. Yeah, that's how it is. Like بيته الجديد. In this case they just replace this imam with who, and it's still the same. مضاف المضاف إليه. المضاف doesn't take alif lam, even though it's definite, and therefore al-jadid takes alif lam. That's how it is. So أين بيتكم الجديد. بيتكم, of course, it's definite. It can be indefinite because we specified that it's kum, your. Where is your new house? And since it's specified, al-jadid has alif lam. I hope that's clear. أحدهم says, one of them says, بيتنا الجديد. Again, that's مضاف, therefore it doesn't take alif lam, but it's definite by position, therefore its adjective comes with alif lam. Our new house قريب من المطار. قريب من المطار. Close from the airport. Hamid says, أأنتم في المدرسة الثانوية? Are you in high school? And one of them says, لا نحن بالجامعة. Oh, by the way, المدرسة الثانوية, المدرسة الثانوية, it means high school. It means high school, just like in the United States, in Canada, all countries have elementary school, middle school, and high school. And madrasatun thanawiyatun, it means high school. Few people know, but the Prophet's Mosque has a high school, but they don't learn physics and chemistry and all of these sciences deeply. Rather, they have an Islamic study plan, and they usually go deep into studying of Islamic sciences. But yeah, madrasatun thanawiyatun, it means high school. And they say, لا نحن بالجامعة. No, we are at the university. So they're studying in the university. أنا في كلية الهندسة. I am at the faculty of engineering. هندسة, engineering. ومحمد في كلية الطب. And there is a small typo. This thaw is supposed to have shaddo because that's a lunar letter. A lunar letter takes shadda, and this lam is not pronounced. That's from the very first lesson, or from the second lesson, as far as I remember. So ومحمد في كلية الطب. كلية الطب. Shadda is supposed to be here. وإبراهيم في كلية الشريعة. In the faculty of Sharia. Well, let's complete the sentence, and then I will explain why it doesn't take tanween. ويوسف في كلية التجارة. And Yusuf is at the faculty of trading. Well, all non-Arabic names don't take tanween. And like Ibrahim, that's not an Arabic name. Yusuf, it's not an Arabic name. That's why they don't take tanween. I think there is supposed to be a note about it, or maybe there is no. There it is. The names of most of the prophets are non-Arabic, and therefore they have no tanween. Now we learn that the non-Arabic proper nouns also have no tanween. Landanu. That's how it is. So London, that's not an Arabic name. It came from England. Well, I think it's supposed to be London, but it says Landanu. But anyways, Williamu. It doesn't take tanween because it's a non-Arabic proper noun. And the name of most of the prophets are non-Arabic, and therefore they have no tanween. That's why Ibrahim and Yusuf, they take no tanween. They take no tanween. If you recite the Quran, you will see that these names never take tanween. وإبراهيم وإسماعيل. You see? وإبراهيم وإسماعيل. So they don't take tanween. If you recite Quran, you will see. Hamid says, من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم. If you don't make a pause here, you will read it like that. من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم. من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم. Because two sukun, they bumped into each other and therefore they are not pronounced. الفتى الذي. Mahmoud says that's how people pronounce it for making the speech flow, to make it easier. Because if I were to say من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم, من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم, or I just can simply say من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم. That's easier. That's easier to say. In the beginning, of course, it doesn't seem like that, but over time you'll get a grasp of it, and believe me, it's easier. It's really easier. And all the language, they are striving for making things easier. Over time, all languages usually are getting simplified. So yeah, that's why it's pronounced من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم. And Mahmoud says هو زميلي. He is my classmate. Hamid says من أين هو? Where is he from? And Mahmoud replies هو من إنكلترا. He's from England. And you see, it's not Hamzatul Wasl. It has Hamza, and therefore I can't say هو من إنكلترا. I have to separate it. هو من إنكلترا. هو من إنكلترا. Because it's not Hamzatul Wasl, it has Hamza, it's called Hamzatul Qata', therefore I pronounce it separately. Min إنكلترا. But here I have Hamzatul Wasl, therefore I don't pronounce it. Masmuhu. You see, it has Hamza, but this one doesn't have Hamza. Masmuhu, what is his name? Ismuhu Williamu. Non-Arabic proper nouns have no tanween. أمسلم هو? Is he a Muslim? Subhanallah. Unfortunately, لا. No. هو نصراني. He is a Christian. أبوه أستاذي. His father is my teacher. اسمه الدكتور إدواردو. His name is Dr. Edward. MashaAllah. Edward. That's how you pronounce it in English, yeah. يهديهم الله إلى الإسلام. That's a dua. يهديهما. Well, in general, it's supposed to be huma. That's how it is. Maybe we've got a note, to have our understanding at a better quality. No, there is no note. Okay. Let me explain it to you. Huma, it means both of them. Both of them. Because as I've said in the previous lessons, in the Arabic language, there are 3 types of numbers, or how you say that. It might be singular, it might be plural, and it might be 2. It's called muthanna in the Arabic language, and it's used when we are talking about 2 things. Like, for example, يهديه, he, it means him. يهديها, it means her. يهديهم, it means them. But he, hima, or huma, well, originally it's usually huma, it means both of them. But you see, yahdi, it has a kasra here. And therefore this huma is changed to hima, because that's easier to pronounce it. Yahdihima, yahdihima. But if we had fatha or dhamma here, we would say huma. For example, sa'altu, I asked. Sa'altu huma, I asked both of them. And yahdihima, it means guide them. May Allah guide both of them to Islam. May Allah guide both of them to Islam. That's how it's translated. Well, I think there is no, it didn't come here, but anyways, I have translated for you. May Allah guide both of them to Islam. But about these kasra and fatha and dhamma, don't worry about it. It will come over in the future lessons, in length, in details. Now we just are passing, therefore I'm not dwelling on it. And Hamid says, أذهبتم إلى المستشفى لزيارة عمكم اليوم. You see, if I make a pause, therefore I pronounce this Hamza al-Wasl. But if I didn't make a pause, I would say لزيارة عمكم اليوم, عمكم اليوم. But when you are mastering the Arabic language in the beginning, it's really hard to talk like that. I've been learning the Arabic language for 2 years, and I make pauses. I make pauses even though I've been doing that, putting a lot of efforts into this process. Still, I'm not able to talk like that. أذهبتم إلى المستشفى لزيارة عمكم اليوم. Well, even the even the Arabs, they make pauses, to make it more clear, to make it clearer. And therefore, don't worry if you have to make pauses. That's totally okay, as long as you are learning. Because over time, when you will be studying the Arabic language for like 5, 6, 7 years, it will be natural. But in the beginning, it's gonna be a bit hard. So he says, أذهبتم. So did you go to the hospital? لزيارتي. زيارة means visit. لزيارتي, well, it's a noun. زيارة, that's a noun. It means a visit. Did you go to the hospital for to visit? When we translate it into English, we will say to visit your uncle today. Did you go to the hospital to visit your... Did you go to the hospital today to visit your uncle? And Yusuf says, نعم, yes, ذهبنا. We went, or we did. And again, ذهبت means I went, but ذهبنا, it means we went. And that's it for this lesson. Inshallah, I will see you in the next lesson. As usually, read it at least at the very, very least 7 times, okay? 7 times at the very least. It's better if you read it 10 times and write down all the new words and all of these possessive pronouns. Think about them, digest them, and I will see you in this next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.